And in today's episode, we have Bobby Sahota, who's a visionary, a mentor, and advocate for using the power of vision boards to achieve life-changing goals. Starting her vision boarding journey at age 23, Bobby has seen incredible transformations in her own life, including manifesting a house that looked identical to the one on her board. Despite challenges such as navigating a marriage, divorce, and career transitions, she's managed to remain focused and resilient, constantly pushing beyond perceived limits. Bobby recently left a corporate job to pursue new opportunities such as mentoring, demonstrating her commitment to aligning life with her true vision. She's also raised funds for personal challenges like climbing Mount Kilimanjaro for a charity called Hope for All and white collar boxing for cancer, exemplifying her passion for both personal and community growth. Join us today as we share the power of visualization, lessons learned from her own life journey, and practical steps to unlock your full potential without limits. Welcome, Bobby.
You, Anu.
Great to have you here. So it'd be great for you to just, introduce yourselves to my listeners and just tell us, your journey so far.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm Bobby Sahota. I am a financial advisor. That's my occupation. That's what I know. And I've been in the financial services industry for over 20 years. I live in Worcestershire and I have an 11-year-old, not 11-year-old, 13-year-old son. I don't know where that came from. I have a 13-year-old son. And what else can I say? I am passionate about helping others, community work, and recently just kind of gone through a bit of a transformative year with climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, and it has led me to a time in my career where I've taken a break for the first time in like the however many years, 20 odd years that I've been working, more than 20 years. So I've been off since the end of January. It's been 4 months and I have done a bit of traveling. I have spent time with my family and friends. I have connected with some kind of like-minded people, and it's just opened up a whole window of opportunities to allow me to start to look at my next chapter. And one of the things I recognized is when you're in your day-to-day role, you don't really have the time to kind of disconnect. And sometimes you need to disconnect to realign and reconnect, focus, and kind of look at what's most important to you. And this time off has allowed me to do that. Yes, I've disconnected from people that are no longer aligned, but what that's done, as I said, it's allowed those that share my values to come in. So that's been probably the highlight of the year so far.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. And I think you said something really important there where, the fact that since quitting your job, it's just opened you up to so many other avenues and areas that serve you so much more. Do you feel like that's ultimately had like an impact on mental health and, just stress levels and
Yeah, I think definitely I've done things that I never I did Mount Kilimanjaro. I said I would to doing it. It was the most difficult thing I've ever done. I said I'd never climb another mountain again because it was the hardest thing. But I did. So in June, I did Helvellyn with one of the guys that were on the trip, who, funnily enough, we had a bit of an experience doing this trip where, I mean, it's all in the newspapers. About the guy that actually set up the trip, kind of ran off with our money a day before we were going. So that in itself was a bit like, do we still do the trip? And I think that whole experience brought people together. And what that also did is it kind of, you form friendships, etc. And three of the guys on there, when they came back, they decided because of the experience that they had, and they shared a lot of the people on there were corporate people. They actually set up their own business called Uncharted Adventures, where they take people to Mount Kilimanjaro now. So when I said I'd never climb another mountain again, um, Craig, who is one of the directors, he actually got me to get back on the mountain. So we did Helvellyn. He also like um kind of pushed me to, it's one of the things I've always wanted to do is the marathon. It's been on my vision board for ages, but I've never taken action. Did a half, but the the day that we decided to do Helvellyn with again a group of people from Mount Kilimanjaro, he spoke about the London. I said, oh, I've always wanted to do the London Marathon, but I didn't get in. It's the ballot. And he said, well, you don't have to do that one. Do the Brighton one. I'm doing that one, which is like in the same month. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I will. And he was like, just sign up. Like it was when the football was on, the final. He was like, just sign up. And I said, yeah, yeah, I will. He made me sign up. So I'd committed to it. So that's my challenge for kind of next year now. But yeah, it was a big game changer, and it's been great. Like I said, formed some amazing connections, a lot of people from the corporate world, and like kind of real, kind of genuine like friendships. And yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so, look, climbing a mountain to me just seems like such an achievement. I mean, and especially just having to break through so many different, barriers to even do that. So,
Yeah.
what kind of barriers do you feel you had to break through to actually get to that top?
Oh, so like the determination, mental resilience, like I was pushed, and I like there were times day two and three, like I was so close to coming back, because I just didn't want to, I didn't want to do it. Like it was like mentally, physically, emotionally, like it was draining. I remember saying when I got back, I was interviewed for one of the magazines for the company that I work for. I said to the editor there, who's also my friend Ali, Ali, I said, the only way that I can describe it is like, they say childbirth is like the hardest thing. If I had the choice, this was like fresh when I came back off the mountain, like 2 days after. I said, if I had the choice, I'd rather give birth again than do that, than do that. Because not only was it the whole mountain climb, but it was camping. I'd never camped before.
Oh,
So that was an experience in itself.
God.
That was an experience. But like they say never. Got back on, and I am currently being talked into kind of doing it again in January. Because as I said, the three guys that have set up their new business, Uncharted Summits, they're doing their first one in January. So yeah, I think the peer pressure is on to do it again. So we'll see. I
Oh,
haven't fully
fantastic.
committed yet, but to do it once is difficult. To
Yeah.
do it twice, but I think it was just the whole. Did it at the start of the year, like January. It's like kind of towards the end of January, and it's just been, like I said, hardest thing, but one of the most rewarding things as well. So I would, like I said, it is a big test to your mental, like resilience, determination. And I did want to like I could have so easily like turned back by day three, but I knew then if I was going back, it was going to take me 2 days to go back. So I might as well just carry on a bit more. And also one of the reasons, like, although I'd signed up to Mount Kilian about October, about a month later, one of my colleagues and like friends, like past former colleagues and friends, she passed away from unexpectedly from a tumor, a brain aneurysm, and I did the climb. In the end, I did it in her memory, so that was something that just kept me going. Like, because she was a fighter. She's so passionate about everything that she did, and I could just hear her saying, just like, what you do, just carry on. So I had to kind of do it for her as well.
Oh, I love that. So yeah, they do always say, it takes that one person to really you know, help you, to support you, and and I feel like that was
Yeah,
your person,
yeah,
she helped you to proceed. So yeah, congratulations. And
thank you.
yes, I'm looking forward to hearing more about it when you do it in January. And oh my God, January is going to be
I
like,
haven't fully committed yet. I've had another message today saying, "Come on, are you signing up?" And I'm like, "I said I'd never do it again." But they say they have showers now on this one,
oh
so
yeah,
that
but
might
what
be a game changer.
then January, it's going to be like below freezing temperatures.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't so bad until the last day or two in terms of like the cold.
Hmm.
But I think, yeah, the whole camp, it was more the camping thing more than anything. It was a bit of a shell shock, to be honest, because all we got was this little bowl of water in the mornings to clean yourself with. Um, so yeah, it was testing.
An experience, yeah. Fantastic.
And then the worst thing is you get to the top and getting down is worse. It's like this.
Oh, yeah. And
It's so hard.
apparently that's where the most foot injuries happen, don't they? Because you're putting
Oh, I
pressure
can
on your
imagine.
toes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's phenomenal. And so is that why you got such strong legs?
Probably. That's probably why I'm doing the marathon. My
Yeah.
son wants to do it as well.
Oh my God, fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh, you're an inspirational
he
mom.
can. He was
Oh,
like, I want to do it. He did Hell
wow.
Vellum with me and he loved it. That was the first one he did in August while I was off.
Mm.
And he's like, yeah, I want to do it. Like he wants to do it in January. I said, you can't because you've got school. So maybe we'll do it in the summer. But then
Um,
I said, if you're going to do it, I'm going to have to do it with you again. So I can't really do it in January because that'd be three times. And it's one of those things you do once and that's it. But we'll see.
yeah.
Get him to
Oh,
do Snowdon first or something. Take it easy.
yeah. Baby steps, definitely. Yeah.
Mm,
So, like, obviously, you raised a lot of money, didn't you, when you did that climb as well? So, what actually inspired
yeah.
you to kind of take on the whole challenge and to, raise the
To
money?
do the for the charity, like I just think like I've always, I mean, in like see the Sikh, like religion and Sikhism, I've always kind of given back, like whether it's salary and it's the whole like 10%. But I think as I've kind of, grown, like there's certain things that were important to me are not important to me before. So, it was things like car, home, money, like that's what my kind of goals and my kind of vision boarding was around that. Now it's more like obviously when you go kind of inwards, it's more about like how you can help others. So in my role as a financial planner, and that's what I've kind of done all my career, it is serving clients. So how you can help them kind of create the life that they want to live and kind of navigate through different kind of stages throughout their life and put them in a financial position where they can like where you're educating them and they're able to fulfill their kind of goals. It's not what people think it is, a financial planner role, and it shouldn't be just about invest your money, make it grow. It's what you do with that as well. And I think like for me, I've loved the career of a financial planner. But kind of towards the last couple of years, as the industry's kind of changed and there's advisors that are coming out, people that are coming through, they're not getting the same level of training as they did before. So I've kind of enjoyed and kind of mentoring like new to industry advisors and also existing advisors as well, helping them kind of with their journey. So for me now, it's like that, like if I can help someone else to like get to where they need to get to, that kind of gives me like a sense of achievement as
Yeah.
opposed to kind of material wealth or earning X amount and things like that.
Yeah, very
Maybe
true.
it's an age thing, I don't know. They
No,
say you
yeah,
get wiser when you get older.
it is. Yeah, no, definitely. It's community engagement and just giving back. And, I just feel like it's just so important for people to be more engaged within the community because that ultimately does combat depression anyway. Because, what's the biggest cause of depression? It's isolation and loneliness. I mean,
Yeah.
so I just feel like if you're in a community environment or, if you're part of a group, like with you, with your charity work that you were doing, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, that was all part of a teamwork as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so the whole collectively there was like 25, 26 of us. In total, we raised over 50,000 for different charities. Like I said,
Great.
I chose to support Hope for I was quite fortunate actually because the company that I worked for at the time, Ativo, they matched what I raised. So I think I raised about 2,000 something and they matched it. So it was just under 5,000 in the end that went to the charity that I chose in memory of my friend. So for me, that's like you can't.
Yeah,
I don't think you can put a price. You can't put a price on that. Um, and like with anything now, like any challenge, like I like if somebody else is doing it, I like to kind of help and support. Through LinkedIn as well, I've met so many inspirational people. That are on the same kind of page and aligned in terms of values. And it's just, I think, kind of sharing experiences, it's kind of helped me connect to those that are aligned. And the friendships that have formed from that have been quite kind of like quite empowering, actually, to be around like-minded people.
definitely. Yeah, it does make all the difference, doesn't it?
Mm.
Having people that lift you up rather than bring you down.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely. It's huge. Like they say, you are the five people that you surround yourself with. And it just takes one person, doesn't it, to kind of ruin it.
Yeah,
Um
it does.
so
Yeah.
I'm quite conscious now of like kind of protecting my own like
Sanity.
energy and sanity and like
Good.
having the boundaries so I'm not just letting like
Mm. Anyone in.
anyone in.
Good. Yeah, yeah. And again, in our culture as well, that's not very easy because there's a lot of
Um,
expectations placed on us.
high expectations, aren't there? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So let's
But you
go.
have to, don't you? If you
Ex-
want, you can either make others happy or you can make yourself happy.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the choice.
It is, yeah. And if it means people they talk about you, so be it. I'm just like, that's great. Let them talk at the end of the day.
Um,
It's great. It means that I'm in their thoughts. So I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
yeah, totally. Yeah. It's how you see it, isn't it? Like you can't change other people. The only thing you can change is the way that you react to things or don't. And I think sometimes silence is the best form of like kind of reacting. Like just let people eventually, like, someone does you wrong. It's not up to you to kind of highlight it, like just let it go and move on.
There you go. I love that. Yeah. So let's talk about vision boarding. I mean, look, a lot of people go on about vision boarding, but I don't think many people know how to even start. So, do you want to talk about your journey?
Yeah, sure. So I was first introduced to vision boarding when I was 23, so quite a long time ago, 20 years ago. So when I was 23, I did my first ever vision board. And it was following a 3-day course that I did with the company that I worked for at the time, the West Brom. And we went to, you've heard of Tony Robbins, right? Yeah. So I did Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within 3-day course at the London Excel, where we did
Yeah.
a fire walk.
Wow.
So off the back of that, a lot of the leadership team at the time were very much into visualization and vision boards. And when I came back off the thing, I mean, doing the firewall, that was a pretty amazing thing anyway. And what I was most shocked about is we did it on day one, not day three. So it was a lot about like limiting beliefs and whether you think you can or you can't, you have the right answer. So that was quite empowering to be on something like that so early on in my career. And when I got back, like I remember I was a bit skeptical. I was like, well, whether I put a pretty picture on a board or where I write it down, that's makes no difference. But it's only when I did it, skeptical, I did it, put it away, forgot about it. So I did it at the age of 23. Some things on there like a house, like salary, the car that I wanted to drive, things like that. Put it away since 23, 24, got married at 24, moved into like my our first home at that age, 24. I remember when I was opening up boxes and I got this like cardboard, like it was just like folded up, opened it up, and like that was when I had that big wow moment because there was a lot of things that I ticked off, but the house that I'd put up there, and I just put it on I googled it like it was a Google image, and I thought to myself, one of the things I wanted was like my first house. I didn't want like a terrace or a semi-detached. My goal was to have like not like a detached house, and I'd put like this picture on like this from Google Images. And when I opened it up, it was like virtually identical to the house that I moved in. And I had no, that's something I had no, it was a new build I bought. And that wasn't even like, hadn't even seen it. So for me, that was like, wow, like, and then I think that was like, I said, a crucial point in my career and life, where I started doing it more. But I never used to talk about it. I just used to do it myself. I never used to tell anybody because I just thought, well, people are going to think like 20 years ago. I mean, people talk about it now, but back then they didn't.
Mm,
Um, and it is a form of goal setting, like in any organization, if you didn't have targets,
mm,
how do you know, like, if you've done well or you haven't? So it's the same kind of concept with vision boarding. And so started doing it again, had a bit of a break, and then really probably over the last 10 years, I restarted it again. So things like salary, like to the T, like every year, if I put something down, I've got it. Um, there's been instances where it's been completely like out of reach. If I was to tell someone, they'd be thinking, "Are you like stupid? Like, there's no way you're going to be given this amount of pay rise. You don't do that. You don't get that in corporate companies." But it's happened to me, and because it's happened, like I kind of share that with my mentees to say, "Look, this is what I was on. I won't say the figures now, but this is what I was on." But if I was to say it in kind of like, if I was put it into context, in a 6 year period, I went from where I started from to earning 4 or 5 times what I was earning. And in that industry, it was unheard of. So by putting that in place, I was like top advisor for the year, consistently year on year and year. But I had a focus, and I always like that's something that I would put on there. I want to be top advisor. I want to be earning X. I want like this is my next car. This is where I want to travel. And it's all kind of like it's just happened. And sometimes, like I said, like what I mentioned about the house, I don't even have these trips planned. And I think I remember one year I put Dubai a few years back. Never been to Dubai. So this would be about maybe 8, 9 years ago. Never been to Dubai, and I put it on the board. Normally update it at the end of the year, start of like January. And literally about a month later, I had a call from my cousin who said that he was getting married and it was in Dubai. So I ended up going like for
wow.
that reason, but I didn't know beforehand, and I thought, well, that was my
Dream
thing.
holiday.
So like, yeah, there's like lots of things, but now like what I used to put on before. is different. It's not so much material. It's all about being kind of connecting with those that are aligned to my purpose. Um, and like again, just living a life where I'm able to help others. So, okay, like people talk about money and how like money shouldn't be at the forefront of what you do. Money doesn't make you happy. And I kind of disagree with that because money gives you choices. And yes, money alone is not going to give you happiness if you're not fulfilling your purpose. However, um, the kind of things that I put on my board now is like, yeah, I want that wealth. I want that wealth so that I can use it to help others. So I can give, or if there's something that a project or something that needs a donation, I'm able to do that. So it doesn't necessarily mean because I want it all myself and I want designer handbags and shoes. It's not about that. It's how I can kind of feel that I've achieved something, helped others, um, and give back.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
And so, yeah, you mentioned something about just, not putting any limits on yourself when you're actually creating your vision board. And I guess the same applies for setting goals, right? So what's your take on that? Because so many people feel so undeserving of higher,
Yeah.
if they want to reach like a higher
I
level.
always say that. I always say, like, when you do it, think big, don't
Mm,
think small, because yes, it might take you longer
mm.
and you might have to jump through hoops to get there. And sometimes they say, if you knew what you had to go through to get to that position, would you still wish for what you had? And like I said, like this stuff that I put on there, like flying business class and all that, all these things I've ticked off. Um, my son's ticked off. I've been able to give him that. And as I said, like it's one of those things where like it's like with anything, the only limits that you place are the ones that you put like you place on yourself. Like we are like limitless beings, really. And if you put it out there, there will be a way to kind of connect to that. Like, for example, like I have a mentor. I mean, I mentor others, and I have two mentors. And one of the things my mentor John said to me last year before I joined the previous company was, you need to set up your own like go out there and create something because you are like inspirational. When somebody else says that to you, it's quite empowering. And when it's somebody that you think highly of, like John's been a financial services leader for years, he's very well respected. Like that, it's like it's a bit like when a teacher like at school tells you you're really good at something. Like your parents can tell you, but it doesn't mean the same. But it's when it's someone that you like respect, an authoritative figure, it just gives you that confidence. So he bought me a domain. He bought me a domain and he's like, I bought you a present. And I was like, oh, John, I'm not ready yet. But it's almost like he's manifested it for me. So that's what I'll be doing. Like, I've decided that I don't want to work for anyone. I'll work and partner with others, but I will be going like solo and do my own thing. But that was like 12 months ago. And it's like, I said, he's done it for me.
That's amazing. Oh my God, I just feel like
Yeah.
you have so many different angels who come into your life to,
Yeah,
support you, to give you that kick up the
you
backside.
do. Yeah. But I do think it's when I kind of like energetically put myself in a position where I didn't have any like kind of negativity and that kind of influence. It's allowed those kind of to come in and yeah, little angels.
Yeah. And also, like you've had quite a journey in your personal life as well, right? And
Yeah.
So how did all those experiences shape your whole perspective on like
So I think
relationships?
for me, like when I obviously didn't have a great marriage, which ended up in divorce, I put my focus elsewhere. So my focus was always like career, like because I wasn't content at home. And I think because I put my focus there, it distracted me from those other things. Um, but I think it was just before lockdown, I got to a point where my son was like 8 and just thought like this isn't the right environment and it's not like this isn't what he should be experiencing. And I don't want him to have like that type of relationship going forward. So it was either like you either stay together or either stay another 10 years and I'm being nearly 50, or I make that decision and go, right, okay, it's not working, like let's kind of call it a day. And like I never used to share like any of this. Like no, probably nobody at work knew. Like I was separated for about 4 years, and my previous work, nobody knew. I just kind of carried on. I was a very private person, didn't really share stuff. And I think what people don't see, all people saw was she's coming into work. She's like, you know, doing like she's achieving all this every week. Her name's been mentioned in the like weekly email. She's top advisor. She's bringing in all these clients and stuff. But what people don't see, and I think this is one of the things, is that like so one of the managers at the time, like he used to say when he managed that team that um, when he'd say like, oh well, he's done this, it would be like, oh yeah, but that's Bobby, and it's almost like it's an expectation because I've always done it. But when like, and he used to say like, there's no difference. Like if she can do it, you can do it. Like just because it's her. And so I start saying like, then I started sharing like what people don't see is that yeah, I'm still like doing what I'm doing, but some people may have gone, oh right, okay, I can't do this because I'm a single parent. But if anything, like I'm going through a divorce, and you can either be like a victim, like in your own story, or like make turn something bad and like a bad situation into something positive. And I think for me, it was like I'm not gonna let like a past experience determine like my future or hinder the thing that I kind of have focused on. So yeah, like I that kind of like mental resilience has it's always been there. It's always been there, but like I would never, like I said, I'd never share it before, but now I do share that. So it can be quite like annoying when I hear people say, I've got no time, can't go to the gym, and then they're at home and they've got a partner and all that kind of stuff. And I'll be like, I trained for a half marathon when I was a single parent, and I made sure, or even when I was married, like I'd make sure I'd get up at 5 and do what I needed to do. Like if you want to do something, you'll find a way to do it, and um you can't use your current position because then you'll never move forward. You've got to kind of navigate a way around it, and rather than thinking, well, I can't do this because of that, think of, well, how can you do it? What are the options? Um, and I think this is where like the whole, you can, as I said, you can either play victim and feed that to your mind, or go, right, actually, I'm gonna kind of
Can
do
do.
something that's, yeah,
I like that. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's true, isn't it? And you are exactly what you say to yourself. So, if you keep saying that you can't do it, you're not gonna do it. Whereas if you say, I'm gonna do this today, then you're
yeah,
ready to go for it, aren't you? Mm.
absolutely.
And so what's the biggest lesson that you try to impart to those that you mentor?
Um, my biggest lesson is like think big, surround yourself with those that are going to add, not take away, not drain your energy. Um, um, make your like if you're doing a vision board, don't just focus on one area, focus on different areas because like if you're focusing on just on money, like that's not like your health. Like think about that. Money, health, your family, what do you want for your children? Your vision board doesn't just have to be about your hopes and goals and dreams. It can be about the people that are important to you. So, I mean, like one of the things like I put on there is I want like my son's gone through a bit of a transformation as well. Like I was getting worried a few years ago with his like weight. He was like over the like he's always I mean he's a 9 pound one baby, so he's always been big. Um and like in terms of like his diet and stuff and I've always been like a healthy eater and like a couple of years ago I was just put it on there like just wanting to be healthy, active, into his sport and now he eats better than me. He eats better than me. He
Oh,
trains every day. He's really into it and I was like,
wow.
yeah, I've kind
Oh,
of made it happen. And I say to him, you're only like that. It's me. And
yeah.
he's just laughing.
The
He's like,
vision.
yeah, you probably are, the vision board. But he's done one himself.
Oh, wow.
For his-
And so what would you recommend that my listeners get like an actual board? Um,
So it depends. Like some people like writing things down. Some people like a visual. So what I would say is like there's lots of examples. If you go onto Google vision board examples, I would say like make them meaningful. One thing I would always say is like a vision board without action is pointless. So you can't just expect to put a picture up there and not do anything about it. You've got to be open to those opportunities and recognize when opportunities come in. So like the key, like kind of the key things that I say is like put salary on there or an income that you'd like to earn and test yourself against that. Put things like personal challenges if you've like, I don't know, like raising money for charity or climbing a mountain or whatever, marathon. Like, I think it's always good to have a personal challenge on there. Um, put things like in terms of the people that you want around you, because I think that's really important. Maybe something about your health and how you want to feel. Um, maybe if you're looking at your next like home move, what does that look like? Holidays, maybe. Again, everybody's different, aren't they? Like some might want to, I don't know, take up a new sport or do line dancing or something. Just put it on there and like as you do it, just tick them off. And once you've done it, replace it with other things. Because once you start doing them, like you'll be like, oh wow, put it on there. It's amazing because you'll start to see like signs and things like that of these things coming in. But it is, I said, it's like vision without action is like pointless.
very true, very true. Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So I think that's a really good idea. And like you said, you can print out stuff from Google or you can
Yeah, you
draw.
can get like the vision board books and things like that as well,
Yeah.
which you can cut things out. But yeah, I don't tend to find like I don't use the like printed books. I just like if it's a car or a house, just go onto Google and print off the image and write down like certain affirmations and things like that. So yeah, have a look at like maybe positive affirmations and things like that, abundance and kind of whatever is important to you. Because everybody, it shouldn't be the same as somebody else's. Like your vision, or somebody else's vision is going to be might be similar in certain areas, but um, it's got to be specific to you and take action.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah. So what's next for you?
What's next for me? So I am just in the process. Well, I'm going to India on Friday
Oh,
for about 10 days. Then I'm going to Dubai. I'm currently training for the marathon, Brighton Marathon next year. And I'm just in the middle of deciding on my next career step. So I've had a few opportunities coming in. I don't want to rush into anything, but I'm excited about what's to come and yeah, watch this space.
I love that. No, thank you so much. It's been an absolute blessing having you on to
Thank
share your
you.
beautiful insights and your inspirational journey that you've been on. And I just think, yeah, it's fascinating just exactly what you can achieve just by setting that intention.
Yeah, intention and action. Watch
Yeah,
out for the signs and just make it happen. And if
yeah.
someone tells you you can't do it, then that's a sign that you shouldn't really be telling that person, right?
Yeah. And plus, I feel like, yeah, when you got so much resistance, then it's a sign that you need to be doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
perfect.
Absolutely.
And
So
so, yeah,
yeah.
where can my listeners find you?
So I'm on LinkedIn, Bobby Sahota. I don't really use Instagram, so LinkedIn is probably the best option. But yeah, if anybody needs any help, just drop me a message and
No.
more than happy to answer any questions.
Wow, perfect. Yeah, and I will be dropping her LinkedIn link in this podcast episode. And that is all we have time for today, my dear friends. And again, thank you, Bobby, for coming
Thank
on the
you.
show. And yeah, and good luck for the future.
You're welcome.
Take care, everyone. I'll see you in the next
Thank you.
episode.
Bye.
Bye.